Greetings, everybody. I'm Chuck Grimes, and I am getting ready to teach you law number 1. There's 17 laws to the game. This is one law right here, the field of play. The field of play, first off, needs to be shaped like a rectangle. You're not going to play with a circle or a triangle or a square. You're going to have longer sides, shorter ends. Field size is going to vary. You're not going to have a bunch of little kids on a full-size field. You're not going to have a bunch of big kids on a little tiny field. But it's going to be proportionalized. And the number of players on that field will be proportionalized as well. But when we're talking about these, through all these videos, we're going to assume it's a full-size field, 11v11. Okay? So, the lines define the boundaries. For example, you have a touch line. We call it a sideline as well, but it's officially called a touch line. The ball goes out of bounds there. That results in a throw-in for one of the two teams. The ball is not out of bounds until it completely leaves the area, leaves the line. Okay? If it's still touching a little bit of the line, it's still in bounds. Who would know that? The AR. We'll talk about that in Law 6. Okay? The end line, known as the goal line. If the ball crosses over there, it's going to result in one of three things. It's either going to result in a corner kick, a goal kick, or if it goes between the goal, a goal, which means we start with the kickoff. Okay? This right here is the markings of a full-size field. For example, every field is divided into two halves. You have a center line. Okay? A center circle that is 10 yards in diameter from the dot. The radius. Okay? Center dot, that's where the kickoff needs to happen. For the beginning of the game, beginning of the half, and for every time there's a goal scored. Okay? Moving down, you have the big area. Slang term for that is the 18. Let's move over here. The 18. Okay? But that's officially known as the penalty area. It's 18 yards from the end here, and it's called the 18. The smaller box inside is called the goal area, also known as the 6. Reason why? It's 6 yards from the end line. You have a goal that's offset from the field that fits in between. You also have a penalty arc that has one reason and one reason only on the entire field. We'll talk about that in a future law. And you have 4 corner arcs where your corner flags go. And we'll talk about that when we talk about corner kicks. And that's the markings of a field. Remember, the lines define the boundaries. For example, if there's a foul on the penalty line and it's a direct kick foul, it's going to result in a penalty kick. Okay? If you're not offside, if you're on your right side of the field, you're on side of the field. The lines define the boundary. We'll talk about that in Law 11. Now, I'm going to use a 4-letter word around here in refereeing that we need to worry, that we need better understanding. S-A-F-E. Safety is our top priority. The players have to be safe, the referee has to be safe, and most importantly for Law 1, the field has to be safe. Referees need to arrive 30 minutes ahead of time to inspect the field. It's not to get on your phone. It's not to call anybody. It's not to goof off. It's to be there to inspect the field and do other things. You walk the field. Do you have to walk about it with a microscope? No, you do not. But you can certainly see holes, broken glass, and anything else that's on the field that doesn't need to be there. Hence, being unsafe. Guess who decides on whether or not the field's safe? I bet you think it's the coach, don't you? Wrong answer. It is always the referee. We are the boss of the field. When you see me out there doing this, it's not because I love you, because that's this. That means you're the boss. Be the boss. You decide if the field's safe or not. If there's holes in the field to make it unsafe, if there's ant piles, okay, we're not playing. The goals must be anchored. These are heavy goals. They're supposed to be anchored down. They can't just be left there. Some of the goals, and you'll see when we talk about in part of the field safety come up in a couple of slides, how some of them are very light. We'll talk about that coming up. Okay? You can play without a net. You can play without corner flags. You can even play without a whistle or assistant referee flags. Playing without a whistle is going to be kind of hard because you're going to have to yell. But you have to have a field of play, you have to have goals, and you have to have a soccer ball, obviously. That's law too. If there's any problems with this, you notify somebody with PSA, meaning somebody like me, for example. Now, these are some examples of unsafe field. If you'll notice here, that's probably the sideline. Possibly, I'm not sure which one it is. That's a hole in the field. Good way to break an ankle. Okay? Mud puddle. Skid mark. Stagnant water. Mud. So PSA, like all the other organizations around here, we rent the fields from the cities we play in. If we allow a game to be played with these kind of conditions, good possibility we're going to damage the field. And we are responsible for repairs on that field. So if you've got mud on the field, you've got standing water on the field, then you have every right to say we're not playing that game. Let's talk about goals. Goals are supposed to be anchored down. Permanent anchor, by the way. Anchor them down to begin the season, take them up when they get into the season. Usually it's a corkscrew item. I think that's what they use out here in the city. Screw it down in with a machine at the end of the season, screw it back up. Okay? These are some examples of those other ones. Now, goals are light. Not all goals are heavy. Like you have it at High Point and Archgate. I mean, not Archgate, Shell. Anyway, this is a light goal. If you're out at Murphy, you're going to see goals like this. Very light. The only part that's heavy is the front part of it, right here, that white part. This little bar right here is very light. And you'll notice there's not a bar uniting this side with that side like there is right here. These are all different kinds of goals. But the important thing with all these goals, they have to be anchored down. Let's talk about corner flag safety. We're not playing with a corner flag this way high. Corner flags are 6 foot. Theoretically, should be put in the ground a foot. No one does that, of course. Okay? So they're 5 foot, which is right here. The chances of you poking your eye or your neck or something are very slim. But you don't play with a flag that's so short where that could possibly happen. Technical area. Coaches are supposed to stay in their technical area. That's the rule. That's the way the law is written. The technical area is 10 yards from the center of the field, each direction, which is essentially where the center circle is. That is their area, and they are supposed to stay there. Okay? If they're not there, you have a right as a referee to tell them to get back there. And if worse comes to worse, discipline them in further ways. Okay? And that is all of Law 1. Thank you.